in child protective services, and they won't give them back to their loving families because they're making money.
This is a legal system that you're going into. And if you don't know the rules, you will be chewed up and spit out.
If I could say anything to a mother who just got their children detained, you're in a crisis. Yeah. Life feels like it's over. The most important thing is regaining custody of your children.
The child welfare system at its core is designed to protect children who need protection. Okay, and that's key, is who need protection.
So social workers, out of fear, will remove more children rather than only remove those children that truly need to be removed.
It's okay. It's okay.
This isn't someone stole your car. Someone broke into your house. This is someone took your child, your flesh and blood.
It doesn't say on this order that it was not proven. It says untrue. True. I immediately knew that, okay, well, this ain't over.
Were there signs there? Were there no signs? Did I miss them? Did I catch them? At this point, I honestly don't know.
Families only get a finite amount of time to reunify.
I came into this field to help families, not destroy them.
The difference between the criminal system and the child welfare system is substantial. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Georgette Truan. I am the co-host for Fight CPS with me, and I also work for the law office of Vincent W. Davis. And I have my guest today, John White Whittington.
It's Whittington, but you can just call me John.
John, and we have our co-host, Mr. Darren, and our other co-host, Ms. Cassandra. So let me just start off with this. Lies spread faster than the truth. So the lies with CPS spread faster than the truth. Like, seriously, faster. I also want to educate you guys again that this crap started in 1997 with the Bill Clinton 1997 Act, which gave CPS basically making CPS a protected empire built on just kidnapping children and destroying families. So the Bill Clinton 1997 Act offered cash bonuses to the state for every child they adopt out in foster care. And in order to receive the adoption incentives, bonuses, CPS treat kids currently like merchandise that sells. So basically what CPS does is bring an infant or a 2-year-old or a 1-year-old or a 3-year-old to a foster parent, an adoptive foster parent. So there's two homes. There's an adoptive and there's adoptive foster parent home, and there's a foster parent home. One of them wants to adopt, the other one wants guardianship only, okay? So workers work hard to keep the federal money flowing. Each bonus is multiplied by a percentage that the state has managed to exceed baseline adoption numbers. Therefore, the state and local community, which is CPS, work hard to reach their goal to increase the numbers of adoption. This program is set by the very top and is ran by the Health and Human Resources. This is why victims of CPS do not get the help from their legislator. Our tax dollars is keeping this gigantic system floating, okay? Poor parents are targeted to lose their kids because they don't have money to hire an attorney. CPS workers propose fraud and withhold evidence in court and no checks and balances. Judges allow them to run the show. Basically, judges just let CPS do and say and accuse parents however they please or they choose. The separation of families and the snatching of children is growing as the CPS business grows because the state and the local government are accustomed to having these taxpayers' dollars to balance their overgrowing budget. So the ones that benefit from all this crap are the state employees, social workers, children therapists, court-appointed attorneys, also known as guardian ad litem. Also known as court pretenders, and the guardian ad litem, CPS investigators, judges, foster parents, adoptive foster parents, and the children's psychiatrists. All of them are looking for children in the state custody to provide job security. So another thing to understand and remember is your state assembly makes the laws. You need to know who your state representatives and the state senators are. You need to go down and speak with them. Let yourself be known. That's very important. So how it works is the governor picks the commissioner. The governor oversees the person selling your children. So the governor oversees the social workers, CPS. Remember that. And the state, obviously. Okay? So I'm going to also finish with this part. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. That's in Isaiah 5:20. The corruption in the CPS world is increasing, like literally increasing. Easter alone, I received calls on Easter Sunday. They actually went to homes on Easter Sunday and stole children who were doing egg hunt with the parents and the families in the home, in their backyard. I received 4 calls at 2:30 and at 3, and I received another call, I believe, at 9:15 in the morning. And they wait for the holidays. They wait for the holidays to snatch children, or they wait for the weekend when there's no one to get a hold of on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, no judges are coming. No judges.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's like they're happy. I had a couple of parents who told me the social worker was smiling at the parent crying and begging them not to snatch their children. Why? Because of allegations. What allegations? Allegations, they're just hearsay. There's not proven to be, it's not fact. And the thing about social workers is that they don't do their due diligence to really investigate because they're either lazy or they're enjoying this. They're enjoying this shit. They're enjoying snatching children. They literally have no souls. No souls. They're dark inside. And what did I tell you guys before? Judges are stupid. Why are they stupid? What is the definition of stupid? If you guys really look at the definition of stupid, is what? Knowing the truth, yet you still believe a lie. You still believe the lie. Knowing what the truth is. That's why judges are stupid. Why are they allowing the social workers to run the show? Why? Because they're lazy. This is the only explanation I have. What is the role of a judge? What is the role of a juvenile dependency judge?
That's checks and balances, right? That's what it's supposed to be.
That's what it's supposed to be, but there is not.
Right?
That's why the social workers tells you guys that they're untouchable. These depleted souls tell you they're untouchable because they know they run the show. And that's why they smile at parents' pain, because they know that what they say goes. Okay? So a lot of people, and I'm going to repeat myself over and over again, oftentimes people in America believe that the parent did something wrong for their children to be removed from them. That is a lie. That's what the enemy wants you to believe. Do not judge lest you be judged. And the same amount of measure you judge, you will be judged severely, because parents are dying inside. They're breaking inside. Children are suffering. And when the child reacts, all of a sudden, when the child is removed from a home, you're literally causing trauma to that child. You're literally making that child react to everything. Even at school, they start hitting kids. They start acting up. They start hanging out with the wrong crowd. Why? Because they're unheard. Because the social workers keeps them silent. They numb their pain. Do you understand me, guys? They numb their pain. And the child has no voice. children have no voice. They say, oh, when the child is 14, you know, you have the right to blah, 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 blah. Bullshit.
Yeah.
That's bullshit because the children do not have a voice. The worker always tells the court this: the child said, the child said, but the child never said. But when the child reacts, they blame the parent. It's the parent's fault. It's this fault. Never ever take accountability to what
unless it's vice versa. Unless it's good. Unless the child's already good, and then that has nothing to do with the parent. That has to do with the foster parents, or that has to do with whoever's bringing them up. The parents never get the credit ever.
Correct. Correct. When that child was with the parent, they did not react that way. They did not behave that way. But yet they're snatching children for money. It's all about the incentives. The incentives they get from the federal government, that's all it is. That's all it is. It's not about the best interest of the child, because if it's really the best interest of the child, you would do your investigation thoroughly. You would really do your job correctly, and really see that when you traumatize the children, you're causing severe pain for everybody in the family and the children. The children will never be the same again.
No.
Because they don't know anything anymore. They don't know what's right, what's wrong. They're lost. A child's mind develops, you know, as they grow. And when you snatch them at a certain age, you're ruining their lives.
Let alone the security.
Exactly. This shit is real. And everybody I talk to, I've had people on Friday, they told me, honest to God, they said to me, Ms. G, I'm a good mom. I'm a good dad. Everything's going to be okay. It's just a CPS investigation. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter if you're a good parent. It doesn't freaking matter if you're a good parent. They don't care about you being a good parent. That's why they set rules in place to violate your rights. Remember that. They set rules in place to violate your rights. And then I have parents also who says to me, oh, I'm in the reunification stage. Well, guess what? You're not going to be reunified with your child. They tell you you're in the reunification stage. But then all of a sudden, they're going to come up with, well, you know, you're going to lose your reunification. Why? Well, because we don't think you're ready.
We heard more allegations.
What?
It's because, we heard more allegations, or...
Oh, yeah. Or they come up with that crap, that excuse. We had another allegation. What? But all of a sudden, there's another allegation. I mean, what is allegation? What the hell is allegation? Think about it for a second. You alleged that this person did something. Do you have proof that this person did this? Do you have facts that this person did this? It's not based on proof or facts. Because in their mind, the social worker, when you're a pathological liar, when you sign a contract with the devil, you don't do anything right. And then they tell parents, hey, sign this safety plan. And everything is going to be okay.
Stupid mistake.
Exactly. And then they say, oh, no, you don't need an attorney. We're going to provide you with one, and they're free. And people listen to that and they say, okay, it's free. I'm going to do it the free. But guess what? That attorney, that court pretender attorney, they pretend to be your attorney.
Yeah, sit like slugs.
And then you guys come to us, call us. Hey, Ms. G, I'm about to lose my parental rights. Hey, Ms. G, adoption is next week. I want my kids back. I need my kids back. My kids need me. But why did you wait that long? Well, I trusted in the system. People don't do their research. Good people, don't do their research because they're convinced in their brain that they're good parents, nothing is going to happen to them. Nothing is going to happen to them. And even when they do their research, guess what? They question themselves. Well, should I really believe that, what I read? Or, should I really, really do this? Should I really, really hire an attorney? But I'm good. I have evidence. Everything works for me because I have evidence. No, it doesn't. Because your evidence is not submitted in court. When you give it to your court-appointed attorney, he or she does not submit the evidence. No. He or she tells you to shut up or be quiet, or they don't call you back, or it doesn't matter. Okay? He or she will make you, convince you that you need to admit to the wrong you've done when you've done the wrong. But you need to admit to what the social worker said you've done. And then that way they trick you and say you're going to get your children back. Bullshit. That's bullshit talk right there. Because the devil is the father of lies. Period. The devil, I don't care if you believe in God or not. I believe in Christ. The devil is the father of lies. And how he attacks you, he attacks your psyche first. He attacks your mind. Your mind is literally the weapon that destroys you as a person. The devil attacks your thoughts. So those workers put a thought in your head, hey, Darren, if you don't sign this, you're not going to get your kids back. And then they separate the families. They say, hey, leave your husband. Hey, leave your wife. Hey, you got to divorce your husband. Or you have to put a restraining order against your husband. You have to kick him out of the house. But why? Why? Because the neighbor or somebody said, oh, there's a domestic violence. What? So parents cannot argue anymore. Like, there's agree to disagree argument type of thing. They can't verbally argue anymore because he or she would be accused of domestic violence because of a neighbor heard the voice loud, for example, or the grandmother doesn't like the son-in-law, or the son-in-law doesn't like, his sister's husband. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of complaints and the amount of accusations against families. You have no right to be a parent because the day you sign your the child birth certificate is the day you sign that child to the state. The state takes over your child. So literally, we're having children for the state to freaking steal from us. That's how it works in the United States. So families, for example, outside the United States, families who hear stories like this, I spoke to a couple of people in the Middle East. They could not believe. They said, well, that's like, it doesn't make sense. Why would they steal the children? Well, if the parents didn't do anything, why would they steal why do they have to make money from this? People in other countries do not believe what really goes on in the United States. So when people hear that a family is fighting for their children, they must have been doing something wrong. But the other children who are really abused in the homes of the abuser, they keep them there. They keep them there.
They'll be back.
But they keep them there.
Right, that's why they'll be back.
So the other ones that are abusive family members or abusive fathers or mothers are connected somehow to the state. They have like job security. They're firefighters, they're cops, they're social workers, they're what do you call it?
Anything of power.
Right. They work with the government. Anyone that has a badge, they will not touch. But they will touch good parents. Even the ones with the badge who are abusing their kids, they're untouchable. No, tell me, people think you go to court to get justice. There is no fucking justice in the United States. No. There is no such thing. Mr. Davis in the video, the introduction video that you just heard before the show began, he said you have more right as a criminal than you do as a parent. There's a reason for that. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent. So who is raising our children? The state.
Yeah, I mean, at least as a criminal, you get to have clear and convincing evidence. You get beyond a reasonable doubt. Here, you get preponderance. Preponderance is barely enough to even. It doesn't even have to be. It's not even that it did happen. It's that there is a chance that maybe, just maybe, that's preponderance. That's what a preponderance amount is. And that's what they rule on in the family court system.
Yeah.
Another thing I learned from this book, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it, Legally Kidnapped by Carlos Morales.
Yeah.
He also talks about this thing called parents patria, where the state assumes that they're the parent and everybody else is crazy, so the state's got to take care of you.
Yep. There you go. But this is all scam. All of this. This is all a scam. It's like a pyramid. You know those pyramid jobs that you hear about? This is what the state is. The state and county. They have rules You know, they have steps that they take. They know what they're doing. They all went to the same demonic school. This is a demonic school.
Yeah, they're all at the same Christmas parties and everything else.
Right. They teaches you how to be demonic. You actually, you can't teach someone to be demonic.
They have to be.
You have to be demonic in order for you to do a job like this.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be demonic in order for you to smile at a parent's pain or a child's cry for not to leave their home.
Yeah, how could you just rip a kid screaming? How could you even not have nightmares for a lifetime?
Yep.
You do that one time, you know, and you can see the love that you are tearing out of a home. How can you even be a damn human being and allow that to happen? How can you get up in the morning, eat breakfast, go hug and kiss your own kids, and then go remove someone else's kids from their home?
Exactly. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. But John, I would like you to explain to us, like a brief description of your story. First of all, what state is your case in?
Oh, I'm in California, so
okay. Yeah. No need to say the county. I already
know
what county it is.
But essentially, it started out with this chick I was dating. She already had a son, and they're trying to say that I left bruises on this kid and many other terrible things that were unfounded.
Right.
I remember, like, before I even knew anything about law and my rights, I decided to do the right thing without a social worker telling me, without a court judge telling me to go do a service. And that during the intake, this social worker, literally, which was the investigator for this case, who was still in training, by the way, when they let this social worker do the case, handle the whole entire case, even though the social worker was still in training. The social worker called me a waste of time. So I don't know exactly what this social worker did on their report, but it affected me fast forwarding in the future. Another investigator comes along and digs up that file and uses that and some other trumped up crap that I got struck out. They were trying to say all sorts of terrible stuff about the mother of my child and me, talking about that, oh, our child lost weight in her care, and you failed to protect your kid because you allowed me around him, and it was unsupervised, and just a bunch of stuff that I had to get struck out. But yet they're still hanging on to the first case, even though it was considered a one-time thing. There's been plenty of witnesses that, said the same exact thing, that something that only happened one time. Now, I was stupid enough to say that I did discipline the kid, which is what ended. Like I said, I didn't know better, but yeah, no, I thought I was just doing the right thing just by telling the truth. I mean, I wasn't the one that left the bruises on him, and I tried to make that clear to him. But now knowing how evil they are and how much they twist literally every little thing, which is why.
Interrupt for a second. That part right there, when you admit disciplining your child. There's a case with, I don't know if you guys heard of the firefighter case that I always talk about. That firefighter used to hit his children with his hand. He used to beat them. But the social worker, with, the pictures of the bruises and all that, the social worker told the mother, it's okay. The children need to be disciplined. She was siding with him. But now you're telling me what they're doing to you. But do you see what I'm talking about? It's okay if you're a firefighter right now, John. If you're a firefighter, you would not be going through this. If you're a police officer, you would not be going through this. You get it now? Go ahead. Continue.
So yeah, so basically now it's to a point where I've been having to jump through a lot of hoops, just to get my visits and also just to get things done. I've managed to do a lot in my case. Like, I've gotten 2 judges recused. I got a bunch of lawyers to back off of the case, the public pretenders. I did a lot of bold stuff because I knew my public defender wasn't going to really do much for me, the one at the time. But this one, I actually looked up their track record, and I told them, well, you know, I don't mind making reports to a bunch of people, and I'm not going to stop until something gets done about them. Some of it's worked to an extent, because now they went from basically telling me, no, we're not going to do anything for you because we're CPS, to now, yes, sir, sorry, sir, right away, sir, because I surprisingly managed to do certain things, like the investigator, if I'm correct, that did the case for my son. Pretty sure I got her fired. But I'm gonna double check with the manager, because the manager for that particular location was sitting there saying that he was going to look into it. And then I even so far has gotten in contact with the director out here in my area to look into it. And something must have happened, because, like I said, I'm pretty sure that social worker got fired. But now it's just to a point where now we're going to be arguing what reasonable services are, because they wanted me to do drug testing and therapy. And I told them no, because I've already done this in 2020. I don't need to do it again, for the fact that you've sent multiple people down to the service, and then for some reason, since you didn't tell me to do it, you guys aren't going to put that into account. But long story short, because of all the things I did, like, you know, following the advice from your show and Vincent Davis, I contacted my board of supervisors, I contacted my legislators, everybody. And I managed to get those 2 services struck out just by following simple advice that y'all give on a daily basis. And so now it's to a point where I just have to do only 2 services. And hopefully everything goes well. I mean, I've been getting extended visits, and, you know, God has blessed me with some decent foster parents. And I know that's a hot take, but these ones aren't really that bad, because they actually give me more time than I'm supposed to, which I'm very grateful for. I managed just to get lucky pretty much with certain people within my case, so to say. But I'm still having to go back and forth with my social worker and the social worker supervisor, because they're just dragging their feet. Like I had to basically play his receptionist, just to get one of my services going, because it's just like, you know, I'm basically going to play their ball game, because that's just where I'm at. That's just what it is. And then later on, I'm going to figure out what to do with them once I actually could afford some real help, which I do remember you on one of your shows, you were talking about how there is this company in New York that helps fund suing them. Definitely going to be looking into that after this whole thing's done.
Right?
Yeah, it's called Momentum Funding. Momentum Funding, they actually fund you if you're suing for lawsuits, for civil cases. And they help you out. But there's states, they do help California, but there's states, like I mentioned before, they do not help. I don't know why. They never answered my question. When I asked one of them over the phone, they said they just don't. And I said, well, give me a reason. She said, well, it could be, she speculated, because they have too many cases.
Hey, did you read Tiff's thing here that she said that she's had people harassing her online and falsely accusing her of sexual abuse?
Yeah.
Keep your mouth shut and don't let them in your house when they come.
Mm-hmm.
That's your first line of defense. You can only be your first line of defense. They can't emphasize how important it is. Shut your mouth. Don't let them in. If the police are there with them, don't worry about it. They can't do a damn thing. They need a warrant in their hands.
They do.
Get that. Anybody, you know, make sure that these are the only ways, because, you know, people are so damn scared when they show up and just like you said, they get hey, there's nothing to hide. Come on in. You know what I mean? And look at here. And, you know, 3 plates, they say, will make a hoarding house for you. You know, like all of these stupid little things that they use. You know, you're not perfect. You're not great. You're not anything in these people's eyes, because they're demons. As Miss G says, you don't exist in their eyes. All they want is your child and the money for them. So shut your mouths, keep them out of your home.
Correct. And also, you have to remember this. The only time they bring the police with them is to intimidate you. There's oftentimes cops would tell the social workers, There's nothing going on here. Why are we here?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing going on here. The kids are playing. The kids are healthy. There's plenty of food. The parents are not, there's nothing going on.
Mm-hmm. That happened here. That's what happened here.
To the kids, hey, is everything okay? They take the kids on the side. The kids say, yes, everything is fine. We're just playing. You're like, why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
And the social workers is looking at the police like, like giving them the eye, like, hey, you do what I tell you to do type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the parents are like, wait a minute, what's happening? So I tell the parents they're intimidating you by bringing an officer with them. The officer doesn't even know. So
Why
the
he's there.
worker can lie to the officers and say, I have a warrant.
Mm-hmm.
The officers do not look at the warrant. I asked an officer before, do you look at a warrant to make sure it's a warrant from the social worker? She said, no, we just take their word for it. They take their word for it. Is there an order from the court? We have an order. I have a badge on. I say, hey, so-and-so, here's my badge. I'm a worker. I have an order to come with me to go remove the children. And then the officer says, okay, here we go. And the officers in their mind, they think they're violent people. Something must be wrong with these people.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to the home and everything is okay. So be very careful. Be very careful. Do not allow them in your home and record everything. I recommend this to everybody, every single person. You need to have a sign outside your door that says this house is 24-hour surveillance. It's on freaking Amazon. Go to Amazon. It's a sign. It's like $9. Put that sign in, where your house is on the outside. The social workers walk in. They see that sign. What are they going to say? You can't record me?
Mm-hmm.
Why? You walked in my door. You consented to be recorded the day you became a social worker. You gave that consent, right? So all of a sudden you're telling me I can't record your demonic, malicious acts? Give me a break. Only a criminal doesn't want to be caught. Only a criminal doesn't want to be caught. So they are criminals. These social workers are criminals. And
none of them, they all
the law.
That body cam thing is really becoming quite a surge, and they are throwing a hell of a stink about this.
Yes.
And why would a social worker, if they were up to doing everything right, if they were doing everything, crossing their T's, dotting their I's, why would you not want to have something on that so that you can prove to everybody else that, the people on this talk show are liars and assholes?
Amen.
You know what I mean? Why would they not want to be like, give us 20 of these. Let's go, people. Let's see what all these people, they're not doing that.
Yep.
They are fighting.
It's funny that we're talking about this because I actually had a conversation with my own legislator in my county, and they like the idea of putting body cams on them. But their only excuse was, we don't have the funding. Okay, so let me get this straight. We still have money from the CARES Act that was passed in 2020. Can we find some sort of money out of that budget? I mean, even just like a quarter of what they make in corrections could fund that. I'm just saying.
Well,
oh, look. Let's see what does a body cam really cost? What does a body cam cost?
But cops wear it. Cops wear it. And people always say to me, Miss G, we need to defund the police. No, baby girl. No, you don't need to defund the police. We need the police. Just because there's one bad or two bad in a police department, right? Or in whatever. There's always good and bad. But most of them are good, right? Most of them are good. We can't judge all of them, but we need the police. But for them to say we want to defund the police, but not CPS, there has to be something wrong with you. There has to be some serious defect in your psyche to say such a thing.
So you can get a pretty decent body cam for $100 or less, like $75 to $100, a nice rugged style one.
$75. The one that the police wear is $75.
Right. So what? How many social workers?
Exactly.
I mean, come on. That's pennies on the dollar.
Exactly.
Don't let them use that as an excuse.
When your legislator tells you it's too much money to put body cam on them,
you tell them that you'll start a fund to raise the money for those cameras.
No. They have enough money.
Of course.
Look how many children they steal a day.
Yeah, take it from that, right?
Yeah. Look how many children they steal a day. Look how much the federal government funds them.
I'm pretty sure they just signed a bill funding the whole child welfare system, like just recently.
They what?
Like, for a whole bunch of money. I think they just like funded the child welfare system, like a whole bunch of money just recently. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I know Maine just got a bunch. Maine just got a ton of money.
I mean,
yeah, they just got a ton of money.
Like February.
Funded to them for the whole to try to find more social workers.
Yeah,
that's what they got funded for.
Yep.
You know what's sad?
To educate more people to be social workers. They just funded that. I'm pretty sure that's what I just read, like not too long ago.
What?
Yeah, because they don't have enough people to take on all the fucking cases.
Wow.
Speaking of cases, I remember reading about federal civil claims under Section 1985, I think. There's actually an interesting case law in there that actually points out that people like CPS are a private for-profit corporation. But they don't talk about that.
Repeat that again, John?
I remember when I was sitting there trying to learn about law, I started researching case law. I came across this thing, civil instructions for federal civil claims under 1985, I believe. I would have to check my book to see exactly what it is, but there's a case law that states that CPS is a private for-profit corporation.
Wow.
That wouldn't surprise me one bit. Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Oh my God. It's amazing. You know, there was a police officer that told me last year. He said to me, he said, Georgette, they complain about how they have so many cases, right? However, they wouldn't have so many cases if they do their job right. If they focus on the abuse only children and not every call they get, right? And do their job correctly when they investigate, they wouldn't have so many cases. But the reason they have so many cases is because they're greedy. Because they want the money to keep coming. They're greedy. It's like, I'll give you an example. A salesperson, a car salesman, right? You go to any dealership. I guarantee you, if you work there, your boss is going to say, hey, Cassandra, you need to sell this much a month, right? If you don't do that, Cassandra, guess what? You're not going to have a job there. They do the same thing with children. That's why when I mentioned to you guys earlier, they treat them like merchandise that sells. Children are not human. They're not little people to them. They're merchandise that sells. So you guys need to keep that in mind. So your legislator hearing something like this from them, that's bull crap. That's bull crap. Because they lie so much that they need to wear the body cams. Why? Why not? What do you have to hide? What do you have to hide? If you can't afford, like the legislator said, you can't afford, then guess what? Why are they denying parents recording them? Why do they tell parents you have no right to record us? Right? Give me a break.
Yeah, why do they take away your visits with your kid because you're recording your kid, right? But it says right in their stuff.
That's bull crap. That's bull crap. And they know. They know we are right. And they know that the social workers are demons. And they know that the social workers lie and manipulate and fabricate and withhold evidence and truth so they can get their way. They know it. They know it. There's a special place in hell for these people.
Oh, I want to go there.
Special place in hell. I don't want you to go there. I want you guys to understand that even though you think God is not with us, God is always with us. But you guys have to literally get down on your knees and humble yourself and pray. You guys need to pray. You know, the ones that don't believe in God, I'm not speaking to you. That's your choice. That's your decision. I'm speaking to the ones who actually believe in Christ. And you guys know who I'm speaking with. You guys need to humble yourself and get down on your knees and pray. Because the devil wants you to think God is not with you. The devil wants you to think God is not listening to you. But God cannot force you to come to him. He doesn't want to force you to come to him. God gave us a choice to go to him freely, our free will to do that. That's why these demons keep roaming earth. And remember what I told you guys before, demons need a body to nest in it. You have to be very mindful. Discernment, knowing who you're speaking with. Speak less and smile more when you speak into a demon. You speak less and you smile more. Don't put your eggs all in one basket. Don't just go and say, oh, yeah, she's a social worker. I trust you. The truth will set me free. So let me tell you, blah, 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 blah. No. She's not your friend. He's not your brother, right? They're there for one mission only, is to steal your child. They have a supervisor they have to answer to. That supervisor is going to say, well, why didn't you take the children? Well, there was nothing wrong with the home. That's not right. They tell you they're going to go talk to their supervisor, right? They always tell you this in an investigation. They go supposedly talk to the supervisor, then they come back with the police, right? With the police. They're there to take your children. After they told you, we're going to go talk to the supervisor. If you guys recall in your case, they do this with everybody. Am I right or wrong? Anyone?
Well, you're there. You got
Pretty
it.
much from what I've seen, and then I've even been helping two other individuals with helping getting their paperwork together because they were done seriously wrong. Like one of my friends, he did some stuff in one county, got his kid back in the family courts, and then he moved out of that county into another county, and someone along the lines made up some crap about him, saying he had unaddressed mental health issues, and they just took him.
Right.
Now, when I got in the mix and I was helping him with his paperwork, I got a judge and a handful of lawyers to sit in private chambers for 2.5 hours trying to figure out what to do. They ultimately put the case back into the original county it came from.
Right.
Because they didn't know what else to do.
Yep.
And this other guy, he won his case too in family courts, and then the baby mama and the dude that she was with went to the school that the kids were going to, lied to the staff and everybody, took the kids, ran them up to another county without doing anything by due process. No notifications, no change of venue, nothing. And she's been getting away with it since 2018.
Wow.
And then I also found that case law. It was actually under civil instruction claims under 1983, but it's Thomas versus Zinkel. Liberty of a local government entity may not rest on the respondent's superior, but rather be based upon a government policy, practice, or custom that caused that injury. The same standards apply to a private corporation like CPS that is acting under a color of state law. Wow. Says it right there. And this was done in 2014.
Oh my God. It's this wow. We have just so you guys know this, last week there was a social worker that was recorded from a Ring camera at the parents' home. And the Ring and the parents sent me, the video. And she was telling the parent, she was standing in the living room. The parent was like across from her. And she was telling the parent, you want me to take your kids now? I can take your kids now. Nobody's going to question me. I can take your kids right now if you don't sign the safety plan. If you don't sign this paper, I will take your kids. And then the mother kept saying, and the father, what facts do you have? What proof do you have that we did what the allegation that you said we did? She said, I don't need proof. I don't need evidence. I am proof. I am evidence. I wanted to jump in my phone and a couple of times.
Oh, man.
Well, if you thought that was bad, you should have.
I kid you not.
Hey, if you don't sign those safety plans, that null and voids those contracts, right?
Those safety
basically
plans
a big admission of guilt.
Giving them the right over your kids.
Right. So if you refuse to sign those, that's a Davis question, but
again, that's a Davis question, but also it's better not to sign anything or confess to anything or
Right.
talk to them without an attorney. It's cheaper to get an attorney doing the investigation phase.
Yeah.
than
So
it is-
until you get, I guess what I'm getting at. So until you get an attorney or whatever, don't sign a damn thing is what I'm trying to say here.
Don't.
Because the next thing you know, you'll be giving up your medical histories. You'll be looking back when you were a 13-year-old child, seeing that you had mental instabilities, all this stuff to use against you. When you go to that TPR hearing, you're going to hear things that you never even knew that they had in their arsenal. And you're going to be like, how did they get that? Well, because you signed this paperwork and allowed them into your life, and you didn't even realize it. That's how sneaky these people are. They are so inside of your life. You don't even know that until you go to face them in that courtroom, and they will tear you apart. And
I didn't even sign a paper. I didn't sign a paper or anything before the fact that they already had everything from my juvenile life with my mom to put against me. Because me and my mom had issues like when I was a kid, and they brought that up as, oh, well, you have a history of domestic violence with your mom.
Do not.
And that's why you're
That's
not
BS.
able to get
Your
your kids
past
back.
has nothing to do with it. But again, they choose to set rules in place in their head, right? To
That seems
violate
fit by them.
rights.
As long as it works for them. That's it. That's when
As long as it works for them. Your past has nothing to do with your ability to raise your children, because your past is your past. You were a kid. You were a kid. Teenagers rebel against their parents all the time.
Yeah.
Because they're going through hormones.
Right.
We were all women. Remember that. And we know once you start your menstrual cycle, you're out of whack. You don't know. You don't know. As a teenager, you're trying to develop. You're trying to find your identity. And that has nothing to do with your ability as a woman now, raising your children now. That has nothing to do with it. What, you think that social worker that told you that has no past? You think that social worker didn't ditch school and didn't run away from home at one point? Didn't retaliate against her parents? Do you think? Come on. Do you think that social worker is not a whore? Oh, she's a whore.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. Do you think the social worker doesn't go to nightclubs and party?
That freaking Jezebel is what she is.
Exactly. Do you think that social worker doesn't drink? Do you think that social worker doesn't do marijuana?
Oh, are you kidding me? They're out every Fridays partying together. Probably the judge is there with them. The district attorney for sure is always with them. They're getting around the table. They're doing shots, getting all messed up, getting banged out in the bathrooms, doing all kinds of shit that you can't do. And then they still get to go home to their kids.
Yep. There you go. That's if they have kids.
Right. Most of them don't.
No, most of them don't have
Which,
kids.
how do you get a job that your whole purpose is kids, but then you don't have any experience with children? How does that even make sense?
Because they don't want you to have children and motherly love or motherly
intuitions, right?
Intuition. They don't want you to have that. Remember that. Remember that they hire people who are narcissistic, sociopathic individuals. Remember a long time ago when I told you what my goddaughter said. She went to apply, right? At a Vermont office, the Department of Child Services. And they told her they cannot hire her because she ranked 90-something% compassionate. And she wanted to have children.
Oh my God.
And she loves children.
I heard that like as soon as they have children, they get put in the desk job.
Yeah, in a desk job.
They're not field officers anymore.
No more. Because they don't want you to have compassion. They don't want you to be normal. They want you to be. So my goddaughter said, so you have to be a narcissist in order for you to get a job? So the supervisor told her, she laughed and she said, yeah, you could say that. So these people are not normal. No one is normal when they laugh at a mother's pain. You can't be normal. I heard a child cry at Ralph's the other day. I went to my car and I cried from that child's tears. How that child was being treated from their father. That was sad to me. But I couldn't see myself going to the dad and slapping him on the face and said, hey, that's your child, man. Don't talk to her like that. Don't treat her like this. I couldn't find myself to do that. But a pain of a child, if it doesn't affect you as a person, then you literally is demon. You are demon. because only a demon has no feelings. Only a demon enjoys pain because they're dark inside. You can't be human. There's no way. You have the body of a human, but inside you is you're possessed. You're possessed. Period. You can't see a pain on a child and let it go. You can't look at a parent crying, begging you on her knees not to remove her children, and a father crying like a little child in front of you, and you'd laugh at that pain. You're actually smiling at them.
Yeah.
You have to be, oh my God. I'm trying really hard not to curse. I'm trying really hard.
Very good. Good
But
work,
I want
Miss
to. I want to so badly. But all I can say is this. They're a bunch of poop. They are. Like literally a piece of shit has more value than they do. Than they are. A piece of crap, right?
Yeah.
When a dog poops on the grass, it actually benefits the grass, believe it or not.
Right.
Okay.
I would rather sit with that piece of poop than with
There you go. There you go. Yeah. I would rather have a piece of poop next to me.
Let's have a poop party.
The social worker. Yeah.
Like
let's have
if you get a piece of poop and you spray paint it gold, it doesn't make it any more valuable.
No.
What? That's a good
Like
one.
if you spray paint it gold, it's not going to make it any more.
I've never thought of spray painting
Still a
poop
piece of
before,
shit.
but that sounds like a wonderful idea.
It's still a piece of
Okay,
shit.
look, this is what Yasmin said, and we're going to go back to John because he has a lot more to say, and we might bring John again on the show. So,
Yeah, I
they
definitely
broke
got
up
stories
my-
to tell, not just mine. I'd love to come back.
Oh, you are coming back.
They broke up his whole
They
family.
said,
Jesus
Yasmin said, they broke up my whole family. That's their job, Yasmin.
Yeah.
They have to, a demon, their job is to divide. When you are divided from your family, baby girl, you're literally weaker.
Yeah, you guys got to stay whole as a family unit. That's where, that's where it comes in. They can't do all the work. God can't do all the work for you. You got to do that yourself. So you got to stay strong and you got to stop believing the lies. When they come over and they start, hey, baby girl, that guy, he's such a jerk to you, yelling at you. You deserve better, blah, 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 convincing you that your old man's no good for you. Next thing you know, you're like, yep. And as soon as they get that word, bang, they're splitting your family up. And before you know it, you hate your old man. Your old man's out on his own. He's got a new girl. You're cheating there. Your kid's gone, and your whole life's screwed up because you listened to this lady that you thought was your friend.
Yeah, but this is not the only thing. I disagree with you on one part, Darren, when you said God cannot help you. You have to help yourself. I disagree with you on that. God give us instructions, right? To follow.
Oh, true. Right.
So, God, maybe I'm raised different, but anyways, me personally, I believe that the man is the head of the household.
Correct.
But God did not say for the man to treat his wife like a doorstep. What do you call it? A doormat.
Right.
Right. His wife is not behind him. His wife is next to him. So there's a role of a man in a household, and there's a role of a woman in a household. But nowadays, it's so scattered everywhere that nobody knows anything. It's like people are like, I have a right. I'm a woman. I work. I do this. I do that. The man is saying, blah, 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 blah. There is no structure.
Right. No pecking order. There's
when
no
a
way
home
that.
is divided, and the home is divided, you literally lose yourselves. You guys have to understand, and no interruption, guys. Listen to me carefully. When a home is divided, it cannot stand. So, again, the role of a man, the role of a woman, and the role as you both as a parent. If you guys do not follow the instructions as God laid it out to be, then your house will never stand. If you have power trip and say, I'm above my husband, I'm above my wife, I'm this and this and that, no, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Because God says what? Man, love your wife as Jesus loves the church. There's instructions for that. Right? Same thing with the woman. But people don't follow that. They say, oh, the new millennial. Oh, this time change. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, we can. Oh, hey, season changes all the time. But God never changes. So if you have the arrogance to say, I'm not going to follow God's word, then there's a problem with you. But hey, do whatever you wish. God gave us the freedom to choose how we want to live our lives.
Yes, ma'am.
But the destruction of a home is when you don't have God in the midst of it. That's how a home is destroyed. And that's how the devil comes in. Because the devil enjoys destruction. The devil enjoys chaos. But when you have God and peace in your home, and you pray together as a family, no one can touch you. That's why when you're not equally yoked with somebody in holy matrimony, there is no holy matrimony. Because you're not equally yoked together. One is an atheist, one is Christian. You can't put them both together. There's no understanding between the two. So that's very important for you guys to understand. Don't allow the devil to come in your home. That's why when you open the door to a social worker to walk in your home, you're allowing the devil to enter your home. Remember that. Destruction, division, chaos is not from God. Period. It's not. So you have to stand very bold, right? And you have to stay firm and do not divide your family. So, John, go ahead and continue the rest of your story.
Yeah, so they're actually trying to adopt my son out within like the first month of my whole entire case. But it's like I said, I just immediately decided to throw whatever paperwork I could together, put it in the federal court. And I like to think part of that, what I did there, scared the crap out of them enough to where they know that I'm not playing no games. And if they do me wrong, I'm just not going to stop. And it's funny, like, and if you want to talk to me after the show about this, any of you, but besides the viewers, but yeah, no, I'll be more than happy to talk about that, and how that journey went. But long story short, I've just been going rounds and rounds with them, and I've lost some battles and I've won some, but with any luck, that I most likely will be getting my son back. And I'm actually going to be going here pretty soon because my parents only agreed to help watch my little guy for an hour. But the last thing I'm going to say before I go is listen to this show. Regardless of how you feel about your politics, the law is the law, facts are facts. There's only so many ways you can spin a wheel.
Yeah.
And educate yourself and don't be afraid to have your voice heard. And hopefully whoever is your supervisors for your county, whoever is your legislators for your county and your state, don't stop blowing them up, because you got to think about it. You're your child's lifeline.
Yep.
That's simple.
Good advice, man.
And it also sucks that, I'm starting to see the point where, people like Miss G are saying that moms get attacked all the time. I know the mother of my child is getting attacked constantly. Because I see how different they treat her versus me. Yeah. Because I'm one of those people who stuck their nose to the grinding stone, and I learned everything I could about law and to hold them accountable. Right. And, thankfully I've picked up a little golden nuggets from watching Miss G's show and listening to people like Vincent Davis. I mean, even went out, got this book, his book, this one. Yep. And then I even have even bigger books with civil procedures.
Yeah.
But point is, I've managed to put a lot of pressure on them, and I hope they see this. And I wish y'all would try to use it against me because I didn't say or do anything wrong. Because people like Miss G and her team know better, and they would have kicked me off a long time ago if I did. Because, like I said, I've gone and put media pressure on them before. So don't stop putting pressure on them. Don't stop fighting. I mean, look at me. They painted me out to be a monster. Now all of a sudden they're treating me better. And on top of that, I managed to get 2 out of my 4 services struck out because it made no sense for me to do it. And I pointed out reason why. And lucky for me, I didn't even have to go to court. I just got someone's butt handed to them in paper. And that's all it really takes. And, election time's pretty close. So now is the time to take advantage of these politicians.
Yes.
Because I told them straight up, if y'all don't want to help me, well, instead of me focusing on getting my kid back, since now you don't want to help me get my kid back, I'm going to focus on a campaign to get you voted out. So are you going to do something about it or not?
Hey, that's a good point. Don, listen to me. We need to start a campaign. during election time, we need to start a campaign during election time. We need to vote these mother F's out.
Mm.
We need to vote them out. We need to get them out. We need to vote for better, right? Judges, we need to vote them out. We need to vote for better leaders. Do not just vote because you're a Democrat. Do not vote for a Democrat because you're a Democrat. Or do not vote for a Republican because you're a Republican. Please, you guys, understand they want us divided. Democrat Party, Republican Party. But guess what? What if there's a bad Democrat running for office? You're going to vote for this person because he or she is a Democrat? Think about it.
I mean, look at Reagan, look at Nixon. Weren't they Republicans? They didn't do such a good job.
These politicians are idiots. Any one of these ones that grab onto the CPS movement?
Yep.
Do you know how many millions of Americans are just waiting to vote for someone that is going to say that they're going to fight this system?
Yep.
I mean, millions. I mean, you got 1 million kids a year getting taken away after how many years? How many millions of people? How many lives? How many millions of lives are affected by the CPS movement?
Absolutely.
Think about that, politicians. And that's the thing. And that's what this movement needs. Is it needs a name. That's what we keep saying. That we need. I know you say that they're in the back burners and they're doing what they can and chug the whistles and make things work. But man, we need someone's face out there pounding the ground.
John, can you possibly get a hold of me, like email me or something? You say you're in
yeah, I'll put my email in the chat. I don't care because I put my information out there all the time.
Do it in the private
so it's in the
chat
YouTube chat right there.
Where? Private chat? Do it in the private chat.
Oh, here, can I remove this? I cannot. I don't mind my email being out there.
Okay,
it's not a big deal to me.
Can you do me a favor? Can you just call the office, call the 888 number, and
all right, and then do I just ask for you specifically?
Yes, ask for GT.
All right.
Just say GT. They know me as GT. Just ask for GT or Georgette, whatever. And either Rachel or Joni is going to answer the phone. Just let them know that you were on my show and you need to speak with me. And that I asked you to call me, okay? And I will take your email address and I will send it to Cassandra and Darren, and I'm going to keep it with me because you are coming back on the show.
Like I said, I have stories to tell, and then I also have a friend that is interested, so I will have him get in contact with your people. It's the one that I was telling you about that, he in one county in the family courts, he, got his kids back. And then when he moved to another county to get away from that county, that's when things started getting really bad for him. But it's funny now because in that incident, now at this now it's back to its original county. That particular dependency court now wants to see exactly what happened in the family courts and how in this county they said this, but in this court they're saying that. They had no issues in the family court, but they didn't want to take that. And then the other guy that won his case, and because he lives in my county, won his case in family court, but then his baby mama snatched his kids up, child abducted them basically. The social worker up there in that particular county, she doesn't work for CPS anymore. She got fired. But it's no surprise to me because one of the things...
She wasn't fired.
Oh.
Do not believe
well, that's what they were saying. I don't know how true it is, but that's what he said.
Different spot.
No, she wasn't fired, babe. She wasn't fired. They always say that.
Yeah, move along, another division somewhere else.
There you go. It's
I'm not believing that she was exactly fired, but I do know one of the things she said to him is, "I'm higher than the DA. I'm higher than the judges. I can do whatever I want."
That's what they said, right? Only a demon is arrogant. You have to. When you're arrogant, you cannot be human. There's no way you're human, right? You can't be arrogant and be human at the same time, right? So they're still not above the freaking law, okay? But you guys have to be a voice for yourselves and for others. People are afraid to stand up. Do not be afraid of a demon. Fear comes from what? Fear is from Satan. God is not fear. You don't put God and fear in the same area. You can't. God is not fear. So fear not. Fear not. And people are so afraid of them. People are bowing down to them. That's bull crap.
Yeah, that's your kids. You take
That's
them.
bull crap.
Yeah.
Okay? So you are God's warrior. You're not on earth for no reason. There's a purpose for you. Purpose. So, bye, John. So anyways, I am going to end the show. again with this. A county child protective services social worker participation in an investigation of parental abuse or neglect shall be deemed a consent to video or audio recording to subdivision A. Okay? I keep telling you guys this. Public officials can be recorded. Okay? And again, as I started the show, I'm going to end it with this. Lies spread faster than the truth. CPS lies spread faster than the truth. So, they too will have a day with God. Okay?
That's going to be a good
It's going to
day.
be very painful
Woo!
day for them. Because God Almighty does not sleep, and God Almighty will judge those who create pain and lies and separation. Okay? So, guys, stay strong. I will see you again at 1 o'clock with Real Fight CPS. We'll talk with Miss G. And then later on, I think the time has changed to 4 p.m. Relatives Fight CPS. And I think I might see all of you guys there. Right, Cassandra and Darren?
Yeah.
I'll wear a suit for the next show.
Yeah, you do that. Me and Cassandra are going to be California gals, and we're going to be all right.
Yeah, I mean, we're just locked up in our houses up here in Maine. It's crazy.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Me and my girl Cassandra, we're in the same wave. But you, Darren, we love you whether you have a suit on or not.
I'm going to send you that thing. I'm going to send you that thing right now. All right? So you got to look at this. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, exactly. He said, look, it says, I will be there like swimwear. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Love you all. And I will see you guys later.
See you soon. Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.